Did you know that some of America's most iconic restaurant chains are on the brink of extinction? From beloved burger joints to family dining favorites, many familiar names are facing staggering financial troubles, mass closures, and even bankruptcy filings. But what drove these restaurant titans to the edge? And more importantly, will they be able to stage an impressive comeback against all odds? The restaurant industry has always been fiercely competitive, with rapidly shifting consumer tastes, economic upheavals, and operational challenges constantly putting pressure on established brands. Many iconic chains found themselves struggling to adapt and stay relevant. From the rise of fast casual dining and food delivery apps to the COVID-19 pandemic's devastating impact, these restaurants are battered by disruptive forces that threaten their very existence. Join us as we uncover the gripping stories behind 10 iconic American restaurant chains that are on the brink of disaster. Let's start with Krystal. Krystal, the iconic burger joint known for its square-shaped sliders, was once on the ropes. This old-school fast food chain filed for bankruptcy in 2020. Rising costs for labor and ingredients, unfair lease deals, and fierce competition from modern fast casual joints and delivery apps left Krystal gasping for air. The company racked up debts between $50 to $100 million and had to shut down over 40 restaurants, including 13 that closed their doors in December 2019 alone. But Krystal refused to stay down for the count. After emerging from bankruptcy with new owners, Fortress Investment Group, the chain started showing signs of life again. Franchisees enjoyed a sales revival, and for the first time in 15 years, a new franchisee joined the fold. Krystal also revamped its business model, launching drive-through and carry-out focused restaurants to keep up with changing customer demands. As of 2024, there are nearly 300 Krystal locations across 10 states, primarily in the Southeast U.S. However, the road ahead isn't all smooth sailing. Krystal's parent company is selling some corporate stores to multi-unit franchisees to fuel growth. But this strategy can be sluggish, and skyrocketing interest rates coupled with cutthroat real estate battles pose fresh hurdles. Still, Krystal is determined to expand its footprint to 500 restaurants within the next 3 to 5 years. Will it be a success? Only time will tell. Another beloved chain that has grappled with financial woes is Perkins Restaurant and Bakery, the cozy diner famous for its all-day breakfast offerings. The family dining staple filed for bankruptcy not once but twice, the latest in 2019. The first bankruptcy was a casualty of the Great Recession when Perkins got scooped up by an investment firm. But even new ownership couldn't stop the second slide into bankruptcy just a few years later. This time, Perkins was forced to sell off parts of its baking business and shutter 29 underperforming locations across the country. But bankruptcy was just the tip of the iceberg. Perkins has been battling an onslaught of challenges, from feuding franchisees to the rise of meal delivery apps and ghost kitchens. A New Jersey franchisee famously got banned from the chain for going rogue and selling unapproved pork chop dishes. The 2008 housing crisis, the pandemic, and evolving customer tastes also slammed Perkins hard. A staggering 58 locations had to permanently shut their doors, especially in California, Florida, and Nevada. While other chains are adapting to mobile apps and fresh menu ideas, traditional sit-down places like Perkins are struggling to keep up. But don't count the pancake masters out just yet. Perkins is staging a comeback with bold plans to expand nationwide and embrace modern, digital-friendly dining experiences. The company knows it needs to learn from past marketing missteps and give customers what they crave: convenience. Let's see if they really come back or not. Just like Perkins, the mighty Burger King empire has also been shaken by a perfect storm of closures, franchisee bankruptcies, and operational challenges. The king has been dethroned, at least temporarily. Burger King, home of the iconic Whopper, fell on hard times with nearly 300 locations shuttering throughout 2023 alone. This was just the latest in an annual culling of a couple hundred underperforming restaurants. But the tidal wave of closures didn't stop there. In a brutal move, the fast food giant announced plans to give the axe to up to 400 more older and lower performing locations in 2023. The casualties included several major franchisees filing for bankruptcy amid soaring costs and pandemic pressures. Premier Kings, a 172-unit operator across 5 states, was one of 3 Burger King franchisees to go belly up that year. It's no secret the franchisees were operating on razor-thin margins, with many saddled with a risky 5 to 6 times leverage on cash flows. COVID's black swan impact only made it worse. But they are not done yet. Burger King's parent company, Restaurant Brands International, has unleashed a whopping $400 million Reclaim the Flame offensive. The plan? Modernize the brand, remodel stores, spice up menus, and crank up that marketing machine. The turnaround efforts are already paying dividends, with a 7.4% spike in same-store sales and a nearly 50% profitability boost for franchisees in 2023. Even with the closures, overall U.S. sales climbed 8.7%, a sign this flame may be reigniting. RBI expects a more normalized closure rate in 2024, too. And moving forward, it's keeping franchisees on a tighter leash with smaller footprints and local ownership requirements. With all of this, can they be able to reclaim their throne and make a royal comeback? You tell us. You see, Burger King wasn't alone in its turmoil. Steak 'n Shake, an iconic American diner chain dating back to 1934, found itself teetering on the brink, too. This classic American diner chain serving up steak burgers and milkshakes hit a major roadblock in recent years. Steak 'n Shake was staring down a $153 million debt repayment in early 2021. Bankruptcy seemed imminent. But in a last-minute Hail Mary, the company managed to repay its lenders just weeks before the due date. Whew, crisis averted. Well, not quite. Steak 'n Shake promptly sued its creditor, Fortress Investment Group, accusing them of trying to seize control of the business. Even after dodging bankruptcy, Steak 'n Shake's struggles were far from over. Weak sales and customer traffic forced the closure of numerous locations in recent years, with a staggering 19% drop in its restaurant count from 2019 to 2022. To survive, Steak 'n Shake went through a total operational overhaul. The old table service model got replaced with self-order kiosks in a $50 million modernization blitz. While drastic, it was deemed crucial to keep up with fast casual rivals. The company also took a gamble on a new franchise partner program in 2018. Operators could take over corporate stores for just $10,000 plus a cut of sales. Some partners are earning around $137,000 annually, not too shabby. However, the pace of corporate to franchise conversions has slowed recently. And in 2022, traditional franchisees shut down about 10% of their locations too. While earnings ticked up in 2023, Steak 'n Shake is still losing restaurants left and right. Customers bemoan long waits and declining food quality, while employees complain of high turnover and feeling disposable. This is something they should really look into. It can make or break them. Let's see if they really care what customers are craving. While stalwarts like Steak 'n Shake fought for survival, regional players such as Hardee's were facing their own existential crises. This Midwestern and Southern staple has been serving up char-boiled burgers and biscuits for decades, but in recent years, Hardee's has found itself in a world of hurt. A rash of closures has swept across states like Illinois, Kansas, Missouri, and beyond. Hardee's corporate parent, CKE Restaurants, was forced to shutter locations in cities like Champaign, Springfield, and Chatham. The closures represent a wider crisis slamming Hardee's and its franchises. One major operator, Summit Restaurant Holdings, crumbled into bankruptcy after shutting down 39 restaurants across several states. The culprit? Lack of foot traffic and skyrocketing costs. Let's face it, the entire restaurant biz has been body slammed by a perfect storm of challenges since COVID rained on everyone's parade. Lockdowns, staffing shortages from the Great Resignation, you name it. For breakfast-centric spots like Hardee's, the pandemic's disruption to morning commutes was a brutal 1-2 punch. But high food costs and dwindling customer accounts have been weighing on Hardee's franchises like Summit long before Corona came to town. Many locations were deep in the red, bleeding cash for years on end. So what's the game plan? CKE is determined to keep as many Hardee's locations alive as possible, backed by a solid financial foundation for future growth. They've been aggressively hunting for new ownership groups to take over struggling restaurants. Will they be able to survive? What do you think? The woes didn't spare major casual dining brands either. Applebee's, a family favorite known for its burgers and appetizers, couldn't escape the industrial upheaval. Applebee's has shuttered dozens of locations across the U.S. in recent years as it battles to stay relevant. The closures just keep on coming too. In 2023 alone, Applebee's axed between 25 to 35 underperforming restaurants, exceeding initial estimates. By year's end, the chain had 36 fewer locations than it started with, and 2024 is shaping up to be more of the same, with a similar round of net closures anticipated. So what's driving Applebee's decline? A few factors are at play here. First off, the casual dining space has become an absolute battlefield with over 300 Applebee's closures since 2017 alone. The pandemic's disruption and evolving customer tastes have only intensified the pressure. Applebee's same-store sales dipped 1% in a recent quarter, too. Seems like budget-conscious diners are trading down to value menus and favoring takeout over dining in these days. Not ideal for a sit-down chain. But it's not just external forces working against Applebee's. The company has struggled to get new restaurant launches right, with high construction and operating costs eating into profitability. Franchises are feeling the squeeze on already tight margins. So how does Applebee's plan to stop the bleeding? Parent company Dine Brands is betting big on an all-new, more affordable restaurant prototype designed to offer franchises stronger returns. The first of these next-gen locations could debut as soon as 2025. Applebee's is also dangling incentives for operators willing to expand beyond their existing footprint. And the brand is reviving fan-favorite all-you-can-eat deals to lure in those value seekers. But attracting younger, health-conscious diners like millennials remains an uphill battle for a chain associated with indulgent pub grub. Applebee's has tried modernizing with delivery and Wi-Fi, but only time will tell if these efforts pay off. As Applebee's battled closures, the regional burger chain Bagger Dave's was facing an outright extinction event. This regional burger joint out of Berkeley, Michigan is staring down the barrel of extinction. Bagger Dave's, known for dishing up tavern grub like burgers, sandwiches, and pizza, has plummeted from over 25 locations across 3 states to just a measly 6 restaurants left standing. The latest gut punch? In January 2024, major stakeholder BT Brands announced it was actively exploring strategic alternatives for the flailing chain. Translation? Those remaining half-dozen Bagger Dave spots will likely get converted into an entirely new restaurant concept by year's end. It's a brutal fall from grace for a brand that originally invested over $5 million into prime real estate, sporting full liquor licenses across the 4,000 to 6,000 square foot locations. But for Bagger Dave's stakeholders like BT Brands, this pivot represents a chance to finally earn back some of those sunken costs. So what led to Bagger Dave's downward spiral? The chain struggled for years with declining sales and customer traffic before being forced to start shuttering locations left and right. The very first Bagger Dave's fired up its grills in Berkeley before rapidly multiplying to over 25 locations in just a few years' time. But that meteoric growth was unsustainable. In 2015, 8 underperforming spots got axed, including 1 in downtown Detroit and 7 in Indiana. More closures in 2017 and 2018 whittled Bagger Dave's down to a shell of its former self. With just 6 locations left on life support, Bagger Dave's and BT Brands have tapped consultants to map out an exit strategy. The game plan could be changing Bagger Dave's name, executing a reverse stock split, or even uplisting to a major exchange like the NASDAQ. But one thing's for sure, those signature Bagger Dave's burgers are headed for the chopping block. This fading chain's future lies in whatever new concept Bagger Dave's ownership can cook up to stay afloat. Even a heavyweight like Buffalo Wild Wings, renowned for its wings and sports bar ambiance, couldn't shake off the financial distress plaguing the sector. But before this, let's take a break. Hope you are enjoying the video, and if you do so, why not like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this? Now grab a wing and get ready for the top 3. Buffalo Wild Wings. This sports bar and wing joint known for its lively atmosphere is currently in a serious tailspin. Financial analysts are sounding the alarm on Buffalo Wild Wings, giving it over a 100% chance of facing money troubles in the next couple of years. The chain's dicey financial metrics and ratios suggest it could struggle just to keep the lights on and meet its obligations. Part of the problem? Buffalo Wild Wings is getting its feathers ruffled by intense competition from trendier wing slingers like Wingstop and Hooters. As consumer tastes shift towards healthier fare, the brand's indulgent menu is also falling out of favor. But Buffalo Wild Wings isn't taking these challenges lying down. The company has rolled out attention-grabbing promos like the Beat the Buffalo deal for March Madness to lure in customers. It's also experimenting with new takeout and delivery-focused Buffalo Wild Wings Go locations. Unfortunately, the headwinds keep coming. In 2023, Buffalo Wild Wings abruptly closed every single one of its Canadian locations, numbering over 100 restaurants. No word yet on whether a similar culling is planned stateside. To make matters worse, the chain got slapped with a class action lawsuit for allegedly passing off plain chicken breast as wings. Buffalo Wild Wings fessed up, admitting its boneless wings are made from white meat. Still, the company operates over 1,200 U.S. franchises and isn't waving the white flag just yet. Buffalo Wild Wings is doubling down on its unique dining experience while ramping up marketing to maintain its market share. With grit and some savvy business moves, this embattled brand could potentially engineer an epic comeback. But the clock is ticking for Buffalo Wild Wings to get its house in order before financial woes permanently clip its wings. While Buffalo Wild Wings explored turnaround plans, the iconic White Castle found itself confronting a legal quagmire that threatened its very existence. This iconic burger slinger is facing an existential threat in the form of a $17 billion lawsuit. Yeah, you heard that right. $17 billion. White Castle stands accused of violating Illinois' biometric privacy laws by using employee fingerprint scans without proper consent. The cases hinge on the state Supreme Court's interpretation that each individual fingerprint scan counts as a separate violation under the law. Now White Castle is staring down a potential $17 billion damages bill that could bankrupt the 100-year-old chain. This ruling also serves as a sobering wake-up call for any business using biometric tech like fingerprints or facial recognition. For the iconic slider slinger, this legal saga poses an unprecedented threat to its long-term survival. White Castle must now weigh its options carefully, as a $17 billion payout could permanently shut its doors for good. Alongside White Castle's courtroom drama, Red Lobster, America's largest seafood chain, was also drowning in a sea of financial losses. The largest seafood chain in America is drowning in a sea of red ink. Red Lobster reported a whopping $12.5 million operating loss in Q4 of 2023 alone. For the full year, the chain bled $22 million for its minority investor, Thai Union Group. A big culprit? Red Lobster's infamous endless shrimp promo that went from limited time to a permanent menu fixture. Despite jacking up prices to $25, the all-you-can-eat deal still triggered an $11 million loss in Q3 2023. It was such a financial debacle that Thai Union, which took a controlling stake in 2020, was forced to swallow a one-time $530 million charge just to account for its soured investment. But the struggles don't end there. Red Lobster has been shuttering locations left and right, especially in the eastern U.S. Some of those restaurants had been anchors for decades before closing up shop. The executive ranks have experienced a mass exodus too. Both the CEO and CFO roles have seen recent turnover, as Red Lobster desperately tries to right the ship. Ultimately, Thai Union has decided to abandon ship entirely. The company is actively looking to unload Red Lobster after years of dismal financials, compounded by industry pressures like soaring costs. Thai Union's CEO bluntly stated that they're not expecting much from the sale either. A fire sale could be looming for the flailing seafood chain. Still, Red Lobster is giving it one last shot at a turnaround. The company has overhauled menus, launched value promos like Summerfest, and tried to optimize its product mix for profits. But as of early 2024, the top line is just okay, while bottom line challenges persist. With a sale process likely taking 3 to 4 months, Red Lobster's future remains murkier than the waters it sources from. Thai Union is already refocusing on its core tuna and seafood business. This could be the final boarding call for Red Lobster before it's permanently dry docked. The restaurant industry has always been a brutal battleground, with even iconic chains constantly fighting for survival. As our exploration shows, some of America's most beloved brands like Krystal, Perkins, Burger King, and Red Lobster have all stared into the abyss of bankruptcy and extinction. What do you think? Will these restaurants go extinct or will they make a comeback? Share your thoughts in the comment box.